Hi, welcome to this week's Lawcate interview. Today, we will discuss the intersections between technology and the law. Please welcome our guest this week, Sarah Daniell. Hi, Sarah, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, Farsai. Great to be here.
So I guess to start us off, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what did you study?
Yeah, so I did an arts degree and a law degree at uni, and so I experimented with a few different subject matters in those degrees, and took a year off at one stage to go and study fashion design at TAFE, and a bit of time at another point to study computer programming and web design, and then I went back to the law to sort of settle into that career. So the work at Lextechia is very commercial. It's very much focused on companies that are implementing tech and needing to negotiate technology contracts with vendors. So it's a very commercial part of my legal life. And then the work that I do at the Australasian Cyber Law Institute is much more about the policy side of things and the ethics of technology and involvement in shaping the law.
So what motivated you to practice in this area of law?
I really like thinking about the way that the role that law plays in our society and the structure that it gives to our society. And I've always been particularly fascinated by the regulation of intellectual property. It's just, it's not real stuff. It's the whole thing is fictional, a system of inventions, of mental inventions. But at the moment, in this point in history, it has incredible power, and some of the wealthiest companies in the world, their assets are all digital. So yeah, I found this a very fascinating part of the law, and I was really keen to start practicing in that. So from the very beginning, I did my articles of clerkship with a specialist technology law firm that was practicing in the research and development field. So yeah, I have always practiced in this space.
I also think it is important to see how the law is evolving and always changing and growing. So how do you think legal technology has played a part in the legal professions today?
I think a lot of the developments are really, really fabulous. And even though there are some sort of scary tales about computers making lawyers redundant, I think we're like some way off that. But in the meantime, it's going to make, in my view, it's going to make the law a lot more accessible to people, which is a really great thing, because historically, legal advice has been something that's very, very expensive to get and can often, prevent you being able to get a resolution of a problem, even though your rights might be perfectly clear.
Fantastic. I particularly like your optimistic view on this and the way you support change in the legal professions. And so as now you are the director of Lawcate and Australasian Cyber Law Institute, can you please tell us a little bit about your career journey and your current role?
Sure. So I am one of the founding directors of the Australasian Cyber Law Institute, which was formed in early 2020 to address some of the issues that we see as practitioners in relation to the way that law is regulating the new technologies that are evolving, and artificial intelligence is one of the key technologies that we're all looking at. But there are lots of others, and the law needing to keep pace in regulating those technologies is really, really important part of what's shaping our society at the moment.
Really interesting. And so I think my next question is, as we all know, there are a wide range of areas of law, and I think a lot of law students are deciding what is the right path for them. So I guess my next question is, could you please tell us why did you choose to go into the innovation path rather than the traditional paths of law, such as doing clerkship and getting to commercial or corporate law?
So in some ways, my legal career has been largely shaped by the fact that I had a little baby boy when I was still at uni. And so when I started practicing as a lawyer, that had to be part-time because I had a little 1-year-old. And so it just wasn't an option for me to go and work full-time 60 hours a week at one of the big firms. So I started my legal career in that different kind of way, and I think that really set me up to have to appreciate the benefits of working less than full time. And so I didn't work full time for a long time. It was nearly 10 years into my career before I worked full time, and so I sought out roles that were supportive of that balance that I wanted in my own life. So I spent a number of years in private practice at a smaller firm that could allow for more flexible work arrangements. And then I went to government positions for a number of years, and then a couple of in-house positions, and then finally I've ended up establishing this specialized firm because the point I've reached in my career is one where to keep developing my skills and to be progressing in my experience, I really needed to choose between establishing a firm or moving towards a general counsel position. And
so when did the Law Society start paying attention to the legal technology?
The Law Institute of Victoria has been really great in looking at legal technology and supporting lawyers who are wanting to be innovative in this space. So they established the technology and the law section. It was not a section originally. I can't remember exactly the structure, but what is now the technology and the law section that was set up about 5 years ago, I think. And that was also driven by a lot of lawyers who are wanting to see a greater level of technology being used in the law, and wanting greater support for practitioners who are needing to apply technologies into a framework of legal regulation that was established in pre-technology times. So the trust account rules, for instance, are one of the examples where they were written for a time when almost all legal practice was just billing by the hour, and now there are many, many other ways that people are looking to deliver legal services and to provide assistance to people, and that regulation of the profession is needing to catch up. But the Law Institute has been terrific in supporting technology in the law, and it's a great section for you guys to get involved in if you want to. They're very, very good bunch of people there.
Yes, and as you are now the director of Lawcate here, what are some challenges of legal technology at the moment?
I think it's a very it's a very young sector because everyone's sort of trying to solve things for the first time, and so a lot of there's a lot of churn in the solutions that people are coming up with. So it's not like there's a really obvious stable solution, that Microsoft built 15 years ago, say, there can be a bit of churn. And also I think there's just a lot of inventiveness going on for people trying to find ways to make legal, to convert legal work into a tech supported framework. And so there's a lot of choice. which can be a bit overwhelming sometimes if you're looking for a solution.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. It's really interesting to hear some of the challenges that the legal technology facing. Because many times, you might have heard many times about gender inequality in the legal sector. Do you think this is also emphasized in the legal technology profession as well?
Certainly, there are certainly more male people working in the technology space. That is still the case, but I think that the community is supportive of greater equality, and the Victorian government, for instance, is very supportive of female-led law firms, and they have initiatives to assist them in establishing themselves, which is really fantastic. Obviously, for my law firm, is really appreciated. And yeah, look, it is an issue still, Farsai, but I think that it's a fantastic space to work in. I really enjoy it and find it incredibly rewarding. So I definitely recommend it to all of the women law students at Monash.
So now I have a few questions about looking into the future and what is your future, the plan for your future career and the future of legal technology. So do you see any more new and exciting gaps in the legal market that you are interested in pursuing?
There is going to be a tremendous amount of movement, a tremendous amount of change in the law and the way that it regulates technology over the next decade or 2 decades, because we are rapidly inventing these technologies that have an enormous impact on our societies, and the law is needing to catch up to that. So an example at the present time is the way that that the use of people's information is being regulated. So it's primarily regulated with privacy law, but in a way that isn't enough. Like because it's that the way that the big companies are now gathering and collating the data about people, it's well beyond privacy. But there isn't a legal framework to address some of the types of issues of agency and damage to agency that is happening in relation to the way that data about people is being used. So I think that in the way that the GDPR is quite a new attempt to better regulate the way that people's information is used, I think we will keep seeing those types of legal developments over the next 10 years, and it's going to be a very exciting and important space to be participating.
So now we come to the last sections of our interview. I would like to ask you a few questions about your advice and your experience for law students and your experience during law school. So I think the questions that I would like to ask is, how do you think law students can equip themselves for the future of the legal industry? And that is also for both in legal technology and the legal industry as a whole.
Well, for the general legal practice, I think it's just the most important thing is to choose an area of law that that makes you feel really engaged. There's lots of very lucrative areas of law that but if they don't fire you up, then I recommend looking at other things that make you feel excited about being involved, because it is it's an enormous privilege to be a lawyer and we all have to be in quite fortunate circumstances to even be studying law. And so, you know, we do have an important position in our community to be responsibly using that level of privilege. And in relation to the legal technology space, I would say that there's such a lot of movement, and all the solutions are so young that it's a really great opportunity for students to just get in touch if they come up with an idea that they think could solve things, then run your own little startup or find someone that is doing things roughly how you think that they could or should be done, and get in touch with them. Like all of these companies will love to hear from law students, because young lawyers can often bring a really fresh perspective and ideas that are harder to get at when you've been in the field for a little while.
Thank you for your incredible advice for law students. So if our listeners wanted to learn more about your work and interested in your work at Lawcate here or Australia's Cyber Law Institute, where do you suggest they start to find out more?
Well, look, I would really welcome people's interest in joining ACLI and getting involved in the committees that we have at ACLI. There's lots of really active committees that are looking into incredibly interesting technology regulation and ethical issues. So that's certainly, and there's lots of opportunities there as well to play a role that in the same way that I've been describing, play a role where you can demonstrate those skills with professionalism. And yeah, that would be great. And for Lex Techia, if anyone has an appetite for technology, commercial technology law, then I'd love to hear from them too.
Yes, I guess this is the end of our really interesting discussions on legal technology today. Thank you so much for your time, Sarah, and your incredible advice, and for making the time for the interview today.
Thanks for having me, Farsai. Good luck with your studies, everyone.
Thank you. For our viewers, if you want to find out more about Sarah Daniell and want to learn more about legal technology, the useful links will be posted in the descriptions below. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy our discussions on legal technology.